Welcome to the Living Connected podcast. I'm your host, Mallory Meyer, a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, founder of White Wolf Reiki, and a former corporate HR professional turned polyvagal-informed leadership and neurocoach, Reiki master, educator, and international speaker. In this podcast, we explore the intricate connection between our nervous system and our performance, productivity, and well-being. I'm here to guide organizations, leaders, and founders in enhancing performance, fostering a psychologically safe workplace, and building teams with high retention that thrive. Let's future-proof your business, raise team morale, and prevent burnout. Join me weekly as we tap into discussions around regulating the nervous system, rewiring the mind, and enhancing wealth and success, with a splash of my love for energy healing and magic woven in as well. Here's to choosing to live more connected. Hello everyone, and happy Leap Day. It's February 29th, and I really just wanted to share this space with you and bring you into some anchoring, some opportunities to really explore the beauty that can unfold through leap years. And truth be told, this has been inspired from some reflections that I have been asked to look into myself this past week. And it really kind of brought a spotlight into how I've never actually acknowledged and seen and witnessed this in my life until this week. So I'm going to share a little bit about the story in my own leap years first. And then I'm going to present some questions for you to really ground into in this portal of energy that we are in today. So I'm going to take us all the way back to the year of 2012. 2012 was a leap year. And I say these leap years, and I share this with you not only in the extension of witnessing what can transform and what can be really coming into fruition for ourselves from what we witness in one leap year to the next 4 years. And also how in those leap years, there were such instrumental milestones, achievements that arose in my life that really have brought me, yes, of course, to where I sit today, but in my own becoming and in my own abilities to really lean back into the answers being all within us. And so you'll hear me speak about that as well. So like I mentioned, we're going to start in that story side of what's unfolded in these leap years, and then give you the opportunity at the end to give you some pieces of reflection through some questions and anchor and ground you into your leap. So 2012, like I said, we're going back to that time. And ultimately, when I think about 2012, it arose in my reflection this week of that was when I secured my first home ownership. This was where I had the ability to really step in and ultimately adult. There was no tiptoeing around it anymore. When you have a mortgage, you're an adult, and there's many other things that will obviously dictate being an adult and defining that. But for me, for someone that at the time when I was reflecting on the energy, I had a very hard time envisioning staying put in one place. And there was a lot of fear that arose of saying, I'm investing in this location, in this place, being in Toronto at the moment. And it was just so much of, okay, we are doing this. And I'm so grateful to step into the space that I did at that point in time, to have the home there, and really just acknowledge it was such a base for me, especially in what unfolded in the years that came of those 4, for me to feel safe. And that's what I needed. I needed stability. I went through a lot of turmoil. Like, I've talked about my relationship past and like the turmoil, the narcissistic element side of things, and really just having that place in 2012 and achieving that in that leap year of witnessing, okay, this is here to be my foundation, to be stability. So let's fast forward now. We are in 2016, our next leap year. So when I was reflecting upon this, and I encourage anyone that watches the replay, look back at these leap years and start to recognize and celebrate what unfolded for you. 2016 was my Saturn return. It was also the year that I became so driven into health and wellness. Simply put, I achieved my first triathlon in 2016. I got into marathon training. That was truly the year of finding the essence of me, which led me then to Nicaragua, having my Saturn return there, finding Reiki, and then the story unfolded. So 2016 for me was just like almost in a way, I'll call it a little bit more of a homecoming. The element of like finding my truth, finding my value, finding in the direction that I wasn't necessarily so torn in, that up until that time, I had a really hard time accepting corporate was my only kind of path in life and a new way to do things. And again, this is all, if you're joining us, if you're new, if you're just watching the replay, this is all to cement and to kind of share a story with you and then give you some questions around the beautiful portal of the day and the energy that we are in witnessing the power of leap years. So back into, we did 2012, 2016, 2020. That chapter from 2016 to 2020, ending that Saturn return, stepping into my new sense of being, finding Reiki. This element ultimately of those 4 years are something that are very hard for me to translate in the speed of which everything started to arise. I found my, essentially like the love of my life, my husband. We moved and we really embodied in a new way the lives and what we valued and how we were going to choose to live it. And the reason I say it like that is because I sit here and my view, I know you probably can't see through my glasses, but my view is like of the mountains. It is of this lush beauty of trees. And I'll never forget sitting probably in like 2018 and meditating. And all I would kind of visualize in where we were living at the time was waking up to a lush forest. I wanted to be in the greenery. I wanted to be in nature. And this is what brought us here. It was by such fluke. I could never have dreamt of the location that we secured in 2020, this spot, being on a realm of possibility at the time. I'll just put it like that without getting too much into a rabbit hole. Now, 2020, being our next leap year, set the stage to my business. 2020, when we talk about going all in, not only did we secure this place, but 2020, I truly decided I am investing. I'm investing in myself in a way that I have never done before. And that was with ultimately the ability to really allow myself to find a coach and to be dedicated through that process of the 4 years, what leads us here now, to grow, to expand, but to be so unwavered in the vision. There was no more tiptoeing around, is this for me? Am I going to do this? It was truly something in my heart I knew I couldn't deny anymore. And many of you have heard my story of creating multi-six figures in under 18 months, but it goes beyond that because it was who I was becoming. And I really see money being the byproduct to who we become. And the reason I also say this is because 2020 to now, I've never stopped investing in my skills, investing in long-term mentorship, investing in my healers, investing in mentors. Yes, there has been consistency with the individuals, but I have also expanded outside of that. And so really to witness for us, and I'm going to give you some questions here, like I said in the beginning, to really establish what your leap is going to be. But part of the story is to show you what is possible. So, for instance, last year I invested in polyvagal theory and trauma-informed leadership and processes and protocols. And it really kind of redefined who I was going to choose to be in my business as well. And like I just said, money is the byproduct in the ability of who we are becoming, the skills that we are acquiring, allowing ourselves to still be held in this possibility realm for not only us, but for our clients. So with that, we are here in 2024, this leap towards 2028. And to really witness, and these are going to be part of the questions here right now, to really witness, what is it that you are looking to create? What is the story that you want to look back on, like I have just shared with you over these last few leaps? But specifically, I could go so much more from this period of 2020 to 2024 that give me so much joy, that give me so much reflection and mirrors of, sometimes it's not necessarily, again, about acquiring the next certification, but rather, which is what I love about coaching, is having the coach to show you the answers that are within. Everything is within us. The presence, the moment to drop in with deep, loving awareness. This time, this space, it is here. It's just sometimes we get distracted and we forget about this present. We forget about the deep inner knowing in our heart, in our energy, in our vibration, in our frequency. That had to be said. I don't know, that was a part of this spread of getting to the questions, but someone needed to hear that, to remind you to come back to yourself. So one of the questions for your next 4 years for this leap, think about 5 things first and foremost. I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, you all know how I love my scales. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 elements in your life, get curious and really just be honest with yourself. Am I truly showing up in the way that I desire, in the way that I want to create in these areas? So that can look like in health, in business, in relationships, in adventure, in spirituality. Those are the 5. I think I just listed 5, but those are what want to just be shared with you right now. And just again, 10 being like the most fulfilled, 1 being not necessarily at its greatest height. And not only just identifying where are you sitting, where are you at, but also let's say you gave yourself a 4. And then the other bucket of spirituality, you gave yourself an 8. Is there one that you feel is in relationship with another? And so what's just wanting to come forward is, do you feel like, I always use this example of, I maybe can't necessarily have the relationship that I desire while I have a thriving business, while I look at healing myself. Is there something that's in compromise with another? And just getting curious about that thought, that belief. The second question is ultimately, what is a current thought, a current belief that isn't necessarily here to support you, but is very predominant? So what I want to gather here with you in this question is, what is a thought that I can bring my awareness back into, that I feel that and maybe this might take some work beyond today, but maybe for this week, just checking in and asking yourself, what is the thought that I held most predominantly today? And is it true? And so I always hear this so commonly, so I'm going to share this as an example, but it has to do with time. And so I didn't have enough time today to get to this. I wish I had the time to do X. So let's say it was time. Again, using this example for yourself, I call it negative belief. It's a limiting belief, but is that actually true? Finding evidence once you have identified one singular thought that is predominantly sitting with you from creating the results that you are desiring to create. Is it true? And starting to find evidence in that to reframe, to reshift, to untangle a little bit deeper. And then now, most importantly, especially in just bringing in what it is for the next 4 years for you, is really allowing yourself, like we kind of talked about at the beginning of this live, recognizing what is something that you have overcome, that you have achieved, that you never thought possible. Like I said, I never really look back at leap years. And this year specifically, I was called to. I was encouraged to. And this is why I felt so compelled to share the journey, the story, the leaps of leap years that have been created. 2020, I will never forget it. What a year. What a year in the world it was. But 2024, today, I have made some deep inner commitments that I know when I come back in 2028 to sit here about another leap year, I'm going to have nothing but so much to share. I can't even begin to tell you. And I know that because I'm so deeply tethered back to this passion, this joy, this bliss, this mission, and what it is that wants to be birthed, what it is that is coming forward. So if you needed this reminder, sit with these questions. If you watch the replay, let me know how not only some of those reflections may land with you. My DMs are always open, but just kind of giving yourself the space today to come back within and really solidify what's the story that I want to look back on, to share, to create, and to be. And to, it's a thread that I won't get into right now, but some illusions that we may buy into that I can release. Because I know my truth, my state of being, my frequency. So last but not least, that I want to just share is if there has been any way of which you have been on this precipice, you are on the cusp of feeling something anew coming through you. Of course, again, my work is so focused on guiding you back into your truths, your deep knowings, unraveling the stories, regulating not only your nervous system, but rewiring your brain to truly be that individual, to choose to have whatever it is that you are desiring, that success is meaningful in a specific way for you, uniquely you, in a fashion that you want to create it. This is no cookie cutter style in the work that we do. So there is opportunities with one-to-one coaching. It is known as leverage. If you've been curious and you want to know more, tap into my DMs. Happy to disclose anything and everything that you want to understand about it. Of course, with Reiki certifications, those are alive. Like I said, 2016, that leap year, Reiki was that for me. And so it's been such a piece of my journey in my work with clients to activate gifts, to open the channel, and to really start to birth how it is that they are forming again. Like with Reiki, for me, it was opening my channel to then be involved in mediumship. As much as I don't do mediumship, I was led to the Arcturians and bringing in and downloading frequencies of their own. And now it's just this ability, this gift to tap into blind spots and to just read energy beyond anything that I've ever experienced with clients. And so it's just so profoundly amazing that it can't really be translated into words right now. For those of you that know, you know. And then last but not least, there's these one-off sessions known as my Akashic Energy Business Mastery sessions. Just an entryway in, just to get some little energy juju in your world, some clarity. But if you have, again, any questions, I love long-term commitment. It's so powerful, it's so potent, and that's why leverage exists. So I am sending all my love, my gratitude for each and every one of you, whether you are live with me here today, whether you watch this replay. Like I said, do not hesitate to ever reach out. I'm always here in any capacity to hold space for you. But really, again, celebrating everyone's beautiful leaps, no matter what direction you may be headed towards, just really bringing you back into this possibility realm. So all my love, and we'll talk soon. Let me just take a moment to share something that has truly elevated my mornings and helped me start my day on a greater, calm, focused, even with a punch of veggies note. I've integrated Plant People gummies into my morning routine, and their products have become an essential part of my self-care. What I really find sets Plant People apart is their commitment to quality and transparency. It's a natural and plant-based approach to self-care that aligns perfectly with my values. But the greatest part about it is whether it's been a tea, a gummy, or even their spreads, they don't compromise on taste. So who doesn't like treating yourself to a moment of indulgence while nourishing your well-being? And I do have something special for you, the listeners here. Plant People is offering an exclusive discount you can use the code MALMEYER, and I should say it's mal.meyer, at checkout to enjoy 15% off your order. You won't want to miss this opportunity, and you can find those full details in the link in the show notes below.